Hey there, welcome to Bipolar Qurious, a battered brilliance podcast. Here we explore mental health challenges and examine unique and interesting tools to help encourage mental wellness. I'm Hollis Wilder, and today's guest is a brand builder and founder of Killer Brands, Ashley Sheeran. She's here to tell us about how vision boarding inspires her life's work and cultivates wellness.
Okay, so my company is called Killer Brands, and I help consumer brands go from 0 to 5 million. So I help with their go-to-market strategy, and I help them get retail placements, which means get them on shelf in places like Whole Foods and Erewhon.
So impressive. I know how hard that is. I mean, it has to be a really clean label in order to get in there.
Yep. So most of the brands I work with are organic certified, non-GMO, and B Corp.
Mm-hmm. Exactly the kinds of things that we want to eat.
Yes.
And that, what better way to feed a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Starts with you.
Starts with you. How did you find that passion?
Yeah. So it was a series of trial and error. There were so many things I was passionate about. I started my career in music, and I dabbled in tech and real estate. And what I found is that a lot of my free time was spent at Erewhon, and I was making friends while I was at Erewhon, and I was nerding out on all of the new products and reading labels. And so after a manager kind of joked about how many beverages I was bringing to work, I thought, maybe I'm in the wrong industry. And so I kind of fell into it, but I was pulled by passion. And when I was working in tech, I was successful, but I didn't feel like I was living my life on purpose. And so I started going through a series of personal development exercises on my own, which included meditation and visualization, vision boarding, and also some journaling about the wheel of life and the different areas, and kind of rating myself on where my fulfillment was in each area of life. And then I kind of looked at my ikigai, what I'm good at, what people need in the world, what I have fun doing. And then I realized, this path is really aligned for me. And it was easy, and I was having fun. I was kind of progressing in the industry without putting in 100% effort. And so then the vision grew even more, and I realized that it could support my lifestyle. So now it's really a total manifestation of wanting to be more in alignment with the things that filled me up and have kind of a regenerative experience with my career path, as opposed to working so hard, feeling depleted, and then having to figure out how do I bring myself back up to a full cup, basically.
Mm-hmm. The place where I've used the vision boarding and manifestation the most is in my relationships.
Yes.
How have you done that?
So a lot of my inspiration for using the tool of visualization and vision boarding, it came from realizing that I was out of alignment, or there was a deficit in certain areas of my life. And so I would have to pray and meditate and really get clear on what's the desires of my heart, and then crystallize that vision. And then just being super clear on the vision, the brain starts to figure out the missing pieces, and then things start coming into your field, if you will, to actualize that vision that you have. And so for me, when I first moved to LA, I had a lot of unresolved issues from my family. And so work was my number one thing. Then I realized I was not fulfilled in relationships. So then I got a vision of what a relationship could look like for me, but that did not include family. It included a really tall, cool guy, music industry, business as well, something like that. And we would just travel and be romantic and not have a kid and not get married. We'd just be dating for a really long time and elope. And so guess what happened? I met that guy and, everything changed. And I thought we were so cool because we worked in the same industry, and I thought power couple, that's the vision. Awesome. But after being together for a year, I felt so secure in that relationship and so happy that I thought, I totally changed my mind. I want to have a family. I want to have kids. So I changed, and I realized a deep desire of my heart that I could not ignore. And unfortunately, because that's not what I presented in the beginning, that became kind of a breaking point. And so, a lot of back and forth on the issue, because there was so much there's so many other things that were in alignment about the relationship, but ultimately I could not let that desire go. And so I decided to end that relationship. And now I've been working on my vision of the relationship that really supports, or the vision of my relationship that really supports my growth where I'm at in my life now, where I see myself going, and the family that I'd like to create.
What are the steps that you take in order to achieve that?
Yeah. So one was, I think, assessing and being honest with what wasn't working and what was out of alignment, and sitting with that and becoming willing to let it go. And then journaling about, what does that relationship and family that I desire feel like? And what does that look like? And who do I need to be for that to happen? And in this period, what I did some two-way prayer, and what came up in that two-way prayer, for those that don't know, it's you write a letter to God, or you could write to your inner child or your future self, and then have God, your inner child or your future self, write back to you, and you get some insights that way. And so I did this, and the insight that I got was to dance. And when I danced, I got a vision of me with my partner and our baby on my back, and I was DJing.
I love it. Yeah, that is fabulous.
And I cried, because that vision only came from me dancing, but it was a true desire of my heart. And so, as clear as that was, and then another thing happened where I went to a concert, and I had prayed about this dilemma of, do I let this relationship go? Could things change? Does this relationship that I desire in a family, is that possible for me? I went to this concert, and I saw this couple that basically embodied the desire of my heart. So that gave me more information. And so from there, it's the process is journaling about that to affirm it, speaking the incantation of it with the body language that, yes, this is happening for me, and calling that in, being mindful of open energy and claiming my worthiness of that thing to happen. And that includes having friends that are embodying the type of relationships I want, surrounding myself with people that have that thing that I desire, because it becomes more real for me, instead of surrounding myself with people that are like, oh, marriage is awful, and you lose love after having kids. Their limiting beliefs will get into seep into my energy field. That's not good.
Right.
So,
and you only have so many eggs. So
that's right. Yeah. So the vision, so I put it on my phone, this hot couple, they're skinny dipping in a pool overlooking Lake Como, I think.
Oh my gosh.
And then on my wall, I have just a very affectionate man, because that's really important to me. And so, like kisses on the forehead, I have a photo of something like that. I have one of me on a four-wheeler, because I think, adventure and spontaneity and, doing action sports is super fun for me. So I want somebody that loves that stuff too. A boat, because a ski boat. I grew up on a lake. Yes. Love water.
Got the boat.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. So things like that.
It's so great. So you're embodying it in the way that you speak about it as well. So when I speak about the manifestations that I'm in, so I do the cut and paste, right? So first, yes, the first step is tell the truth when you know it. The second step is sit quietly, cut and paste, and I create a montage, right? And while I'm doing that, I'm letting go of all those things that I was afraid of.
Yeah.
Can't get a relationship, all that stuff that's BS. And then I talk it into reality. So like, for instance, when we talk, I say, oh yeah, I'm going to Fiji, which is really happening. And I'm going to meet a number of men there. And one of those men is going to be my husband. And we're going to return to Fiji, and we're going to get married there. And we're going to jump out of a helicopter. And all of our friends are going to be down below watching us float.
So good.
Yeah. So I've been having that vision for 9 months, and I'm leaving for Fiji in 3 days. So
oh my goodness.
I know. stay tuned.
Wait, do you have your playlist ready? Because that's another thing that I do. I have my wedding playlist.
What? Tell me about that. That's incredible.
Yeah. So every time I hear a song and I think I'm visualizing my wedding or my partnership and it just hits my heart, I add it to, I have a playlist on my Spotify and it's all the songs that I'm going to play at my wedding.
Oh my gosh, I'm taking that. That is so great. Will you share that with me?
Yeah.
Oh,
and I
that's
know
great.
One insight that I got a couple days ago is that I'm going to have a garage rock band, a 60s garage rock band, because my parents had a ska band. My dad was really into the Police.
Oh, cool.
So they had a ska band and it just came to me, we're going to have a 60s garage rock band.
I love all of this so much. So I wanted to, vision boarding has been around, but I wanted to change it and make it more in line with my brand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sheer brilliance, which is, you're using the shears not only to shear away the limiting belief in the past, but also to cut into your future. You create the vision board with the past of all the things. Then you see it and you let it all go by covering it up with what you're manifesting now and what you embody now going forward and what you want to bring into your life. And it's really true. I mean, there's like scientific backing on, you can be in a lecture, you can hear someone say something in a lecture, and if you don't take notes, then you only get a certain percentage. If you take notes, you'll get a lot more. And so the act of doing this visually, not just thinking it, it's like it's like trifold. So sheer brilliance aids my wellness. And I know how important that is for you.
Yeah.
Tell me about your wellness routine.
Yeah. So I've been doing the medical medium protocol for several years now, which is lemon water first thing in the morning, then 20 minutes later, celery juice, and then 20 minutes later, a heavy metal detox smoothie, which has blueberries and spirulina and barley grass, bananas, and cilantro. And it just helps detoxify heavy metals from the brain. And then the celery juice is good for detoxifying the liver and overall anti-inflammatory. And that has really helped me so much in so many ways. But it's helped with sugar cravings, quitting alcohol, and just reducing inflammation in my face, like didn't even realize, and just overall vitality.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I love to sweat at least, once a day. And getting sunlight and fresh air is really important. I walk my dog twice a day. It's good to just kind of break up the day. Meditation is super important. Prayer first thing in the morning, filling my mind with positive content, whether that's from books or spiritual books or listening to Jim Rohn or, some of these other business moguls that I admire.
I mean, we're talking about holistic nourishment. Yeah. The other part that's really big for this is to eliminate negative people in your life.
Yeah.
Who are on a repeat of the same catastrophizing over and over again. And the news, what I read, right? What I read, what I listen to.
Yeah.
The music, like in the car, I'm really all about just books on tape and I'm listening, getting the repetition of positivity. I mean, we're wired for negativity. That's what we're wired for. So this is like swimming against the stream for a lot of people. But for me now, it sounds like for you, it's just effortless. I wouldn't want to live any other way because it's the mind, body, it's all of it, right? This is what I embody right here. I embody this. And I want to be here. Like I want to be right here at home with myself. It's so much fun because there's so much curiosity. I mean, this right here is the book of life. Right here. I have so much to read and so much to know and to learn. And I love that I'm in alignment with the mental wealth of it all to be able to attract that. Because that's what it is. It's attraction. We're attracting one another and all the abundance that happens.
Yeah, the reprogramming, even in my language, in my thoughts, and who I surround myself with and what I allow, the energy that I allow myself to go into. It's not about denying or avoiding feelings. It's about putting them in a container. Okay, I'm just broke up with somebody, and I'm going to give myself 48 hours to grieve. And then that's enough. There may be grief waves after that, but we're not going to ruminate on that because we're clearing the space to bring in something that's even better. And I trust it's happening because I did the hard work of letting go, things like that. And also, so in the morning, it's something I turn over the worry, anxiety, insecurity, inferiority, superiority, all of these things that can get in the way. I say, God, I'm giving that to you. And then just affirming the things that I'm grateful for throughout the day, because that gratitude is a better frequency for receiving more blessings.
So do you also, like, for instance, if that were happening to me and I had just had the breakup, I'd still be, trying to manage and control my thoughts. Like, I should have done this. If I had done this differently, if I had, oh my God.
Yeah.
Nauseum. Like, I don't ever want to have to do that again.
Yeah.
And so the quicker I can grab onto the tail of that mishigas, that cacophony, if you will, grab a hold of it, and then get right into the action of cutting and pasting.
Yes.
And seeing it, like slapping it. Here it is, positive, you can, empowerment, like all the things that are on top of it, instead of, are you sure that's right? I don't know, babe. If you want to do that, maybe you should do this.
Yeah.
You really are thinking too much about this. Like, you think you're that? I don't think so. So that's like still in there because I allowed it to be programmed. I'm like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Right?
That's enough.
That's enough.
That's enough.
So then, because it just happened to you 48 hours ago, what's the fast track to get to where you want to go? Because time is time, right? I mean, we can slow down time. We can slow it down. There's plenty of time.
Yeah.
I don't have to rush. But at the same time is time. And, I could expire in 48 hours, right? Yeah. So how do you, because in manifesting and also in vision boarding, you can speed track what you want. Yeah. So how are you speed tracking?
So by the habit, if you will, that I've developed of reprogramming my mind every day towards the positive and the expansive, listening to positive things, engaging with positive people, I can have that call to a friend and say, look, this is the story that I'm telling myself right now. And they can say, there, that's enough. And I'll say, okay, great. I let it go. That's it. And then a couple other phrases that I'll say is foot on gas. Like a mentor of mine told me that, like, move forward. You're not going backwards. It's done. It happened. So those are some things that help me. And then momentum is real. So I feel not to avoid, but I make sure that I have things that I'm looking forward to that are expansive on my calendar. And no matter how I feel, it's like, okay, we're suiting up and we're showing up.
Exactly.
Dress, put on your best outfit, put on a song that you love, get into that energy of it's all happening for me.
Exactly.
And get into the flow of life. If it's confusing, it's probably not meant for me.
So you bookend.
Yes.
You bookend your day. So you have a call with somebody and then you wake up, you best face forward. You wear the outfit, you go out, you do all of this repetitive action with the sunlight and the meditation and the way you speak to yourself and what you listen to and what you're putting into your body. And then you schedule something fun. Yeah. So what do you have scheduled?
On Saturday, I'm hanging out with two of my friends. It's somebody's birthday. And I also have time to DJ.
You DJ? Oh my gosh. You are?
Yeah.
I'm going to go.
Yes. Yeah. So
I'm leaving for Fiji on Saturday. Or I would just
for
invite
Tony
myself.
Robbins, right?
For Tony Robbins.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be with you there next year.
Yes. In spirit.
Yep.
It's life and wealth mastery. And this is mental wealth that we're talking about. And so going to Tony Robbins at this time, I mean, I'm just like, I was in the car this morning. I was like, wow, look what I did. Look how I changed my entire life by thinking all of this into existence, seeing it, telling the truth. Like, I am not going to put up with this limiting belief. For me, it was around coming clean and really talking about having a diagnosis of bipolar. I knew, just in the same way that I knew in other areas of my life, tell the truth when you know it. Like that has been the tenet for me since I got, sober way back in the day. Like, tell the truth when you know it. You're the only one that knows that. So it was one of those like light bulb moments that was like, oh my gosh, if I tell the truth about this, not only will I free myself from the prison of the four walls, right? But I'll also help other people. And that's what you were talking about with passion. It's like the passion is about being purposeful in our lives, and that's how we serve.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And that's what really shifted for me, that enabled me to have this lifestyle business, if you will, is because it became less about what I was trying to get through my job and more about what am I naturally into and how can I serve in that way. And you just talking about owning that truth and being out with it and helping people through that. That's something that came up last night in my women's group. I was in a prayer circle last night and it came up. And it's something that I'm really contemplating right now. There's more to my story that I could be sharing with the world. And I think there's a little fear behind that. Like, what would that look like? And
so am I kind of a role model?
Yes.
Oh!
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've done a lot of work on myself because I come from a lineage that has a lot of addiction and trauma, and there were not a lot of boundaries in my house growing up with my parents. And I learned a lot at a young age that wasn't really appropriate for a child. And so I grew up pretty quickly, and it's taken a lot of time to kind of put together a healthy, fruitful, stable life because I just didn't have the tools. And so, yeah, I mean, addiction is part of my story. And there's this, I think it's becoming more okay culturally to be honest about that, but there's still a lot of stigma. And so it's kind of like, how do I put this out in the world where I have this business that's about health and wellness, which does support people recovering from addiction? And how much do I share? Because sometimes I've shared things and I've gotten feedback from people in my business world that are like, oh, what are you sharing? It's a little too much, a little woo-woo, but also the deep knowing inside of me that I can help more people by saying, hey, this is what I came from. This is what I did to make my life better. And this is the life that I had today, which is freaking awesome. The life of my dreams. And it's only getting better. Just knowing that I could help serve more people that way. So maybe it's time to vision on that.
It sounds like it. It's in what you just described is exactly sharing your experience, strength, and hope, which is what I decided to take a risk on, putting myself forward and saying I was diagnosed with bipolar. So I have a question for you. Speaking of, so you just said you put some things out there, and then business people were saying, well, I don't know, it's a little this. Is it true that they said that?
I did have a phone conversation with somebody that I would consider to be a mentor, and they said, what's going on with you? What are you posting? Little woo-woo. I didn't know you were that cosmic.
But we're so cosmic.
Maybe just consider what your message is. And I think it was constructive feedback. Consider what your message is and be intentional about it.
Yes.
Because it can be confusing if I'm promoting my business and saying I can help you break into retail and build your brand from 0 to 5 million. And then I'm sharing something super spiritual at the same time. It's a little kind of who's your audience and what's your goal. So I can see it from that perspective. And I think that's all that they meant. I know that they love me, but otherwise they wouldn't even give me that feedback. So I didn't take it in a negative way. It's just, that's something I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, how do I share this? And I love my business and what I do, and I'm on a roll with it. And at the same time, am I being called to make a shift into more fully sharing what I think is maybe my bigger calling in this life because of just what I went through. And that's kind of what I've noticed with some friends of mine that have really blown up in the last couple of years because they started to own their truth about something and then share what they've learned on that path with the world. And it resonates so much because it's authentic.
Exactly.
When I was struggling with addiction and I didn't have hope because I didn't have positive role models around me, vision boarding helped me imagine a future that was better. So I guess it's a little fantasy, but when it becomes your reality,
well, it can stay in fantasy if you don't do all of the other pieces of work. You can put it on a vision board. I want to be in Lake Como with my husband, da-da-da. I want children. This is rock band. I want all these things. You put it, slap some paper together and stick it up on the wall. But then you're losing the intent. If you're not in line with it in all the aspects of your life, you're thinking it, you're meditating, you're praying about it, you're imbibing it, you're speaking about it, you see yourself doing it, then it's not a hallucination. Right? It's a reality. It's not like something that's like, that's the piece that people don't want to do. It's, you still have to do the work. We still, and not that having to do the work is ever a chore. It used to be when I was like going against it.
right.
But now it's like, oh, this is so exciting. When I do the work, things happen so quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah,
What to see when you do what happens next. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You're going to be in
It's already in motion. It's already in motion. But yeah.
Did you pick out your bathing suit for Lake Como or are you doing the skinny?
Skinny dipping. Yeah, I mean, I haven't picked out the bathing suit yet. So
Do you know where you're staying? In Lake Como?
No.
Oh, specifics, girl. I'm not going to tell you where I stayed. I'm going to let you do the research, but I honeymooned there. I was married in Florence.
Okay.
And then we honeymooned in Lake Como. Okay. It was really quite something.
Okay, so I'll get specific on that. Yeah, my vision board is more specific about the properties, our real estate investments.
Oh, fabulous.
And motors, because I love, cars, boats, bikes.
Nice.
So I'll get more specific on the honey.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Yes.
We have to cut and paste together.
I'd love that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's such an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a joy.
It's just been so great. I see you every week, on the Zoom arena, but to be here in your space with you is just an honor and a privilege. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that we found each other.
Likewise. Yeah, I feel this bubbly energy and it really is brilliance. It's been inspiring to connect with you and talk about these visions and make them happen.
Yeah.